I knew what I knew.
I have no idea.
Oh,
Oh, yes. Are you?
No, we got two.
So the girl was fine. No, that's not. Oh, no. No, no, she won't tell you. Okay, I'll tell you.
I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I do. I will tell you if I should. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm hurrying. Back row.
Yeah, no, in that case, bring them.
He's busy. He's happy. He weighs 75 pounds. Good thing you're with him. It's a good thing he's with us. Yeah, we'll just have to walk out of his way.
He's denying what he got paid. Hold on. Hey,
Pass the paperwork around.
and not me. All right, let me make a note of that.
You do is click on their link. You go down to the top right.
Keep little kids down there with him. Must be twins, huh? Maybe not.
That's good. Okay, the hour being 7 o'clock, actually 7:01. I'll call this meeting to order. If we could have Ryan Passmore lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Mayor,
Councilman Shuttron,
I make a motion, we approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Shutter and seconded by Councilman Berg. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. First item on the agenda is proclamations, and the first one of those is the 307 first. So I'm going to read this. Is there anybody here to receive this proclamation? Okay. Whereas the city of Green River is committed to supporting the success and strength of our local and state economy and encourages the efforts of our local business owners. And whereas local businesses are the backbone of our economy and are integral to the growth and longevity of our community. And whereas the strength of local business is dependent on the support of the community. And whereas buy-in from locally owned businesses not only supports the employees of that business, the money spent locally is used to hire other support businesses such as suppliers, auto and equipment dealers, and contractors. And whereas all these factors together create what's called the multiplier effect, meaning that each dollar spent in local store brings more money into the local economy. And whereas supporting local business supports critical infrastructure within our communities through the generation of sales tax revenue, making our Wyoming communities a great place to live, work, and play. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Pete Rust, do hereby declare June 2022 to be 307 first month and encourage everyone to live, love, and buy Wyoming. Which we all obviously love, don't we? Okay, second one is Women's Veterans Appreciation Day. Whereas women have proudly served their country throughout all periods of the history of the United States to secure and preserve freedom and liberty for all Americans and our allies. And whereas women have formally been a part of the United States Armed Forces since the establishment of the Army Nurse Corps in 1901, but have informally served since the inception of our nation's military. And whereas whether disguised as male soldiers during the American Revolution and Civil War, as nurses in World War I and II, or as combat helicopter pilots in Afghanistan, women have served honorably and with valor. Whereas today women constitute approximately 18% of the military personnel on active duty, and whereas currently women comprise nearly 27% of all active duty personnel in the Air Force, 19% of the Navy, 27% of the Army, and 11% of all Marines. And whereas the population of women's veterans is expected to reach 2 million in 2021, increasing to approximately 2.2 million in 2046, comprising more than 10% of the veteran population. And whereas the state of Wyoming can highlight the growing presence of women in the nation's armed forces, in the state's National Guard, and pay respect to women veterans for their dutiful military service. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Pete Rust, Mayor of Green River, do hereby proclaim Sunday, June 12th, as Women's Veterans Appreciation Day. Very good. Okay, next up is presentation, and this is Ryan Passborg, Life-Saving Recognition Certificate. So who would like to speak first on this? Where's Mark? Mark, did you want to?
Okay. Should be on. Mr. Mayor and Council. Thank you for the opportunity and thank you for everybody that came out. And I just want to express my appreciation for Ryan here. And I also want to tell you that the other members of the legislature wanted to express their appreciation for your heroic efforts also. And what I'm going to do is just to give a little background. The Wyoming legislature meets jointly for sessions, and we meet down in Cheyenne, depending on the year, a budget or a general session. But when I heard about what you had done, Ryan, I reached out to the speaker before the session and asked what we could do to recognize your actions. And what we decided is that we'd go ahead and do an informal resolution. And it's not anything that goes, into law or in any books or anything like that. But it was written based upon the press release and then signed by all the legislators. So I'll go ahead and read that, and then we'll put it back in its case and we'll give it to you. So the 66th legislature of the state of Wyoming recognizes and honors Ryan Passborg. A joint resolution recognizing Ryan Passborg of Green River for his heroic actions that saved the lives of a 32-year-old mother and her 4-year-old son from their burning house in Sweetwater County. Be it resolved by the 66th legislature of the state of Wyoming, whereas Ryan was running late for work as he traveled down Highway 374, when he smelled smoke and saw flames coming from the bedroom window of a home he was driving by, and whereas he did not see any emergency lights, so he pulled into the driveway and saw 3 young children outside the house. When the children told him their mother and 4-year-old brother were still inside the house, without hesitation, he entered the home in search of the young boy and his mother. And whereas encountering the heavy smoke and flames inside the home, Ryan crawled on his hands and knees until he found a small child. He immediately grabbed the boy around the waist and carried him outside. And whereas after placing the 4 children in his truck to keep them from below 0 temperatures, Ryan returned into the burning home for a second time, crawling further in until he found the children's mother, who was lying on the floor, badly burned and struggling to breathe. And whereas after dragging the mother outside, Ryan performed CPR while using his speakerphone to direct emergency services to the home, reviving the mother as she sat up and gasped for air. And whereas Ryan then drove the family away from the raging fire and awaited the arrival of emergency personnel. And whereas he later took it upon himself to purchase several $100s worth of clothing and necessities and personally delivered them to the family and their grandmother's house. And now therefore, be it resolved by the state of Wyoming legislature that on behalf of the state of Wyoming, we hereby recognize and honor the bravery and selflessness demonstrated by Ryan Passborg. His heroic actions that day speak volumes about the quality of his character, and he represents the best of what it means to help someone in the time of need. And I'm going to go ahead and sign this. It actually says February because that's when we did this. But I'm going to ask Ryan, do you want me to cross it out and just put June?
That's fine. with me.
Okay. I'll just cross it out and I'll put June and I'll put today's date. And it's signed by not only the speaker, but the Senate president, and all the legislators in the Wyoming legislature. And honestly, Ryan, we appreciate what you do for the community and we appreciate what you do for the state. And thank you for your service and thank you for your previous service as a firefighter. So thank you very much, Ryan.
If we can get the council members to squeeze in a little bit, I'd like to join.
We're gonna do something. too.
Okay.
We got something with March. Thank you, Representative Baker. Just hang right there for a second, and we have a very brief from the city of Green River, a certificate for Ryan for life-saving recognition. The city of Green River is honored to recognize Ryan Passborg for displaying dedication and courage during an emergency situation at great personal risk. You came to the aid of others with heroic life-saving actions. So we're going to present this to Ryan also. And did you?
On. Have you guys come up here, please? All the logs. Yeah. Come on up. I don't know if you got a big enough camera to get all the logs. I want you guys in the picture, yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
We might have to take a picture from the roof.
This ain't even a percent of
Ryan, can you squeeze in just a little bit? There you go. And then just move in tight that way. We can have some on this side as well. Okay.
You want some of them on this side?
That'd be great. So the certificate's kind of centered. Move that way. No, move that way. There you go.
There you go.
Everyone right here real quick. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. And then
Everybody stay here for 1 minute. So the chamber, we talked to the chamber about this presentation, and they talked to their members. And we have a little something for Brian. It's actually quite a little something. So, you can see. There you go. So congratulations. I think you might need some help here. We're gonna take a recess for a couple minutes and let the.
Thank you. I tried not to cry.
Yeah.
Braxton? Here, take this to Bubba. Braxton. Braxton, will you grab your jacket, buddy? 12.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me. Okay, we're going to be back in session. Item 6, citizen requests and other communications. Are there any citizens in the audience not on the agenda that would like to address the council? Okay, seeing none. I'm going to open a public hearing for the new restaurant liquor license application from Chopsticks Green River, excuse me, LLC, doing business as Chopsticks Green River. The purpose of this hearing is to allow the public to voice any questions or concerns regarding the issuance of this restaurant liquor license to the said applicant. Okay, with that, so we're open to public hearing. Since I see almost everybody in here, not almost, well, almost everybody in here that I know, there's no members of the public here for this, I'm assuming, correct? I'm going to close the public hearing. Okay, moving on, resolutions. Item 8, consideration of a resolution declaring the intent of the city of Green River to support the continuation of the existing countywide lodging tax. And I'm going to read this and then we'll have somebody perhaps speak to this issue. The Sweetwater County local option lodging tax will be on the ballot for reauthorization in November. This reauthorization has taken place every 4 years since 1991. This year, the Sweetwater County Joint Travel and Tourism Board is asking to continue the existing 2% lodging tax. Would somebody like to address this issue?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Janessa Meredith. I'm the Executive Director of Sweetwater County Travel and Tourism. As you know, the entire budget of Sweetwater County Travel and Tourism is the local option lodging tax. Like the mayor just said, the local option lodging tax has been in place since 1991. And local voters have been asked every 4 years since 1991 to reauthorize the local option lodging tax. And the only people that pay that lodging tax are the folks that stay in the hotels and campgrounds in Sweetwater County. And the lodging tax is used to generate more tourism to our area. So all of our marketing efforts throughout the county, the region, the nation, that's how we fund all of those media and marketing efforts. We also fund almost 30 local events with the local option lodging tax. I'll read some of the local ones. Art on the Green, Quilting on the Green. We work with the Chamber of Commerce. We fund River Festival. We fund Flaming Gorge Days, the Flaming Gorge Classic Basketball Tournament, the Tolman Invitational Wrestling Tournament, Overland Stage Stampede Rodeo, the Green River Grapplers Wrestling Rudy Gunter Memorial Wrestling Tournament, the Green River Knights Legion Invitational Baseball Tournament, Tough Turkey Volleyball Tournament, and I already said Flaming Gorge Days, Quilting on the Green, and I think that's all of them. So yes, it's going to be on the ballot this November. And like I said, it's the tax that local residents do not pay that we all benefit from based on it being used for local events and generating economic impact to our area. The resolution also states that tourism in Sweetwater County generates $160 million a year, supports over 1,300 jobs. So it's really big business and really beneficial in Sweetwater County. And I would take any questions that you might have.
I don't have a question, Janessa, but I just always make this point. When we go to other communities, we pay a tax most of the time, a lodging tax. To them, it's only fair that when they come to our community, they also pay the same kind of a tax. So it's just kind of an even thing.
Absolutely. And nothing will change with how the tax is collected right now, it's already being collected at the rate that it will be collected at after the election. So nothing will change. Everything will remain the same after the election. The last election, we had 82% support. So local residents seem to really understand it and see the benefit. So yeah, looking forward to another successful election.
Okay, does anybody have any questions of Vanessa? Go ahead, Robert. Councilman Burr.
So other communities in Wyoming, what's their percentage at? Are there ones that are higher than us?
Yep, you can have 2%, 3%, or 4%. Mhm.
So we're at the lowest rate right now.
You know what? It used to be that there was no statewide lodging tax. In 2021, they imposed a statewide lodging tax. So now we're partnered with them. So 2% of our 4 now fall under the statewide lodging tax. And the local option is only 2%. So our local voters are only voting on that 2% to keep us whole at 4%.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Any other questions for Vanessa? Go ahead, Councilman Zimmerman.
No, this is off the subject, but this is a good time to plug the sixth penny.
Yes.
So it's something that people need to realize, that a lot of people come off of I-80 and they're also paying that tax. And so it's partially paid by people outside of our community visiting. So it's really a win-win. So just like this lodging tax, I just thought it was a good time to mention that we need to recognize that sixth penny is good for us. So
Absolutely. Part of the 6 penny sales tax are paid by visitors, but it's important to distinguish between the two and know they're both going to be on this ballot. And the 6 penny special purpose is infrastructure, and the lodging tax is travel and tourism, marketing, local events, has been imposed since 1991. So
exactly. Thank you.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Thank you very much, Janessa.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor,
Councilman Chatrin.
I move to approve the resolution declaring the intent of the city of Green River to cooperate fully and assist Sweetwater County and the incorporated municipalities of Sweetwater County in taking all action necessary in support of the continuation of the existing 2% lodging tax.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Chatrin. I heard seconded by Councilman Zimmerman. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Council action items, item 9, consideration to approve the issuance of a new restaurant liquor license to Chopsticks Green River. Again, we had the public hearing. Nobody here is obviously concerned, or they would have shown up. So we'll entertain a motion. Councilman Jost.
I move we approve the issuance of the restaurant liquor license to Chopsticks Green River LLC, DBA Chopsticks Green River, for a term beginning June 8th, 2022 through March 31st, 2023, or 2023, pending legal approval.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Jost, seconded by Councilman Chatrin. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Item B, consideration to approve an engagement letter with Rudd and Company PLLC, whatever that means. Never mind. The city requested proposals for a new auditor to complete the city's audit. There was one proposal submitted and staff is recommending to move forward with Rudd and Company. Chris, did you have any comments on this?
Mayor and council, we've had our current auditor for about 15 years. He unfortunately decided to retire. Darn him. He was a great auditor. We really enjoyed working with him. So we put out an RFP, preferably trying to get a state and in-state company. Every single one of them said they're full up. They're not taking on any new clients, and this was the only proposal that we submitted. One of the blessings of having our current auditor for 15 years is our audit fee was the lowest one in the state whenever we compared every other city our size or bigger and cost wise.
The downside to this new company is we're going to a little more than double our current audit fee. So, but it is something that's statutorily required for us to have.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Chris? Seems pretty straightforward. Okay, we'll entertain a motion.
Mayor,
Councilman Zimmerman.
I move to approve the engagement letter with Rudd and Company, PLLC, for the completion of the city's fiscal year 2022 audit pending legal approval.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Zimmerman, seconded by Councilman Shuttron. Is there any further discussion?
Mayor,
Yes.
I just wanted to ask one question, and that was, this is just for the 1 year. We're not signing into a contract for the next 5 or anything like that. So next year you'll go out and rebid this
We will not. This will be a 3-year engagement.
3-year.
There is a non-appropriation clause in it, so we don't have to have the 5-mile long motion I normally give you guys. But the plan is you try to pull an auditor in for about 3 years at a time at a minimum, to keep continuity and keep their rates low so they can spread that fee. Otherwise, if you do an audit each year, there's a whole lot of first-time initial setup fees and all that you have to do to get the engagement running, and that it's kind of like anything else. The first time you do something, there's a lot of setup, a lot of inquiry, a lot of changes. So that we try to recoup that over a 3-year period and keep the fees to a minimum on that. So we plan on using this auditor for 3 years or longer.
Okay, thank you.
And a second.
Okay, any other questions? All right, seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item C, consideration to approve the service agreement terms and conditions with Neo Government. As part of the Police Department Development Project, software is needed to assist in the creation, training, and tracking of policy changes. Power DMS provides this service and is the preferred provider of our consultant, Daigle Law Group. As the Daigle Law Group customer, the city will receive a 6-month subscription for free. The subscription does come with terms and conditions that require approval by the city council. Chief.
Mayor and council, you guys are gonna get tired of me talking about this policy project. Seems like I'm up here every month about it. I think that explains it fairly well. This really is a program that not only will help us communicate with the consultant while we're developing the policy, but then after that, when we go to deliver the policy to our officers and train them, it will track that. It will track their acceptance of those policies. And then year after year, if we continue using this program, it would track any changes we made to policy and when we made those changes. So it's going to be a really good way of tracking things for litigation, defense, and things like that.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for the chief? Are these kind of agreements, are they reviewed by council? Okay, so you've agreed it and you're good with it. Okay.
Yeah, the reason it says upon legal approval is because Galen has had some changes that I'm working with the provider on, and as soon as they're regarding indemnification and venue of lawsuit, and not until we get those things settled will it come to you for your signature, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Okay, if there isn't any questions, we'll entertain a motion.
Mayor,
Councilman Kilpack.
I move to approve the NeoGov Power DMS Service Agreement terms and conditions for the assistance in creating, training, and tracking in the GRPD policy changes pending legal approval.
second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Kilpack and seconded by Councilman Berg. Is there any further discussion? Seeing that, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item D, consideration of a letter requesting a modification to the City of Green River's wastewater treatment plant discharge permit. I'm going to read this, Mark. During the COVID pandemic, the City of Green River and the Wyoming Department of Health partnered to purchase a composite sampler for the wastewater entering the treatment plant. The composite sampler allows the city to get a sample over a period of time versus a grab sample that is taken instantaneously. The composite sample gives a more consistent result when performing laboratory analysis. This is a request to allow composite sampling on the city's existing permit. I hope I didn't steal all your thunder, Mark.
No, and that's fine, Mayor. Thank you. Mark Weston's Public Works Director. So currently our permit, because of the technology that we've had at the treatment plant for years and years, our permit is a grab sample. We just do just a random, take a random cup out of the water coming in. Since we're not using this auto sampler for COVID anymore, it can be used to do the composite sample, which is what we will use it for at the new plant. So this gets us moving in that direction as far as our laboratory work is done.
Okay, seems, again, pretty straightforward. Does anybody have any questions of Mark? Okay, we'll entertain a motion.
Mayor,
Councilman Berg.
I move to authorize the mayor to sign a letter requesting the permit modification with Wyoming Department of Environmental Quality for the use of a composite sampler.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Berg, seconded by Councilman Shuttron. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item E, consideration of a professional services agreement for the City of Rock Springs and the City of Green River Joint Biosolids Handling Project. Do you want me to read this, Mark, or?
I try to summarize. So
Okay.
We've been working with the city of Rock Springs for almost a year. Put together a program. They've got a current issue with their biosolids coming out of their treatment plant. And with our new plant that we're planning and going to build, we will have a similar byproduct. And as the staffs have been discussing options and how to deal with these things, we determined might be the best option for us to work together on a solution. Now, we've come up with and negotiated this agreement that would be, this is being heard in front of the Rock Springs Council tonight as well. We did a full selection process with interviews and RFPs, and actually Councilman Jost was on the interview panel. And we've selected a firm that we believe is going to give us some good recommendations, both for the possibilities of a joint project, and also if that doesn't look like it would be feasible, independent options for us to go our own way. So the bill will be split 50-50 in accordance with the MOU that we established back in July of 2021.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Mark? Just the cost savings, working together with. Okay, I'll entertain a motion. Councilman Jost.
I move we authorize the mayor to sign the agreement for engineering services with Forsgren Associates Incorporated for the joint biosolids handling project to be completed in conjunction with the city of Rock Springs.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilman Jost, seconded by Councilman Kilpack. Do we have any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Again, we're unanimous. Thank you, Mark. Item F, consideration to approve an amendment to the software agreement with Converge One. Is that you, Mr. Acting City Administrator?
It is me tonight.
Go ahead, Chris.
If you got council, remember in roughly March, we entered into an agreement for network services with Converge One to maintain and help and run our network for us. One of the things that we've been working on is to replacement of the city's core switch. We thought we had another year, to be truthful to it. It ended of life in 2024. And we try to, the core switch is the backbone to the city's network. If we don't have the core switch, nothing functions. So we thought we had a little bit of time till we started talking to vendors and suppliers, and the lead time to order these switches is anywhere from 9 to 12 months. So we decided we've got to get it ordered, and we won't see this product for another 9 to 12 months. With that, Converge One, it will have to support and run this. So what we're asking the council is to basically do a change order. And I know it's not a word we like to hear that often, but a change order into their supportive service agreement to buy these core switches for us and to install them and configure them. And that'll all be part of their contract and management services. The reason we want Converge One to do this for us is because since they are doing the management, it doesn't make sense to put this out to bid, have another company come in and do it, come in and do an install. And then if something doesn't work, there's a fight between our service provider and our installer. We try to keep that all in one. So if they break it, they got to fix it is really what it amounts to. And this being the critical amount, if the core switch goes down, anyone that their primary focus or job functions on the computer is sitting. And the main concern from most of the employees is that the payroll seems to be done on the computer, and they're really anxious about this not being going down. So we try to keep those things potent, but it is a $75,000 switch over and fix, with the switches themselves, the hardware being about 60,000 of that. It's a change order. So.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Okay,
Mayor? I
yes.
had one quick question. So the 75,300 and something, that's the total cost of the switch, or is that just the change order itself?
That's the full change order. So that's the cost of the 4 switches and installation services and configuration services altogether.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, let's have a motion.
Mayor,
Councilman Zimmerman.
I move to approve the amendment to the agreement with Converge One for managed support services in the amount of $75,351.49 and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Zimmerman, seconded by Councilman Shuttren. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mayor,
Councilman Shuttren.
make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. City Administrator, acting.
Talked to Reed a little bit tonight. He plans on being in, he said, just shortly after the council meeting was over. So you guys have got to go till about 1 a.m. today. At about 4:30, I was talking to him in a security line in North Carolina, and he said he was just hoping his flight didn't get canceled today. He still didn't know at that time. But hopefully he's making it on his way home. Should be back in tomorrow, mid-morning to afternoon, somewhere in that area. Want to give some shout outs. We've had a couple busy weeks. As you guys know, with the wastewater line off the north side lift station, they have got that up and running and functional, and they're starting to do some grading. So that give a shout out to the utilities guys, public works guys, and engineering that they took a project and could have been had a lot of concerns and problems with it, and took care of it and remediated it very quickly in that. The Parks and Rec departments had a huge weekend this weekend. They had a lot going on. They had rodeo, quilting on the green, at Main Street, and some other event doing the Downtown's Not Dead. Then we had trail days as well. And without the Parks Department doing a lot of support and fundamentals and setups, and Public Works is in there too. Those events did wonderful, but with all the support people, I wanted to give a shout out to them, everybody that was involved in all those events. They did a really nice job this weekend. The county finalized, made a quick amendment, which you guys approved on consent agenda tonight, to the fire department agreement. We're moving forward with that. Things are, we're ironing things out. It's a work in progress, but it's a very positive, good work in progress, and things have been working well with that. So just give a quick update. Steve had sent you guys all the department head update. That's got a lot more than I'm covering tonight. As you can see, there's a lot of busy things. The public notice for the budget went out today. It's not looking too bad. I'll let the mayor steal the thunder on sales tax tonight. I'll stay out of that, as not sure which way I would. The mayor gave me a dirty look, so I'll just leave it at that. And last thing I have to update is we got the preliminary numbers on our rate study. We're gonna have a meeting with a consultant Thursday on that to solidify some stuff up. The current numbers are better than what we had talked to you about. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still a very significant increase with them, but they are better than what we had been talking about earlier this year. So we'll be getting those numbers to you as soon as we got the draft a little more solidified, hopefully by the end of the week or early next week on that.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Does anybody have any questions, Chris? Okay, Mr. City Attorney.
I have no report tonight, Your Honor.
Well, thank you, Galen. Councilman Kilpack.
All I want to say is congratulations to Ryan for what he did. That is fabulous, and he deserves all the credit that he received, because there's two people that definitely may not be here today if it wasn't for his bravery and his heroic efforts. And as far as I know, from Ryan, got an email from Ryan, and our 6 pennies moving forward. And so things are looking good. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Kilpack. Councilman Jost.
I'll also echo what went on out at Jamestown. That was a real heroic effort Ryan put in. And in the last weeks, I attended a couple meetings for joint communications and the telecom committee communications meeting. Went to the rodeo, and it was a real good time Friday night. And I heard it was a bigger crowd on Saturday night. So it was a large group there. So both nights was fun and enjoyable, but I only went Friday. So
Should have rode a cat.
I should have been dead probably. And so I enjoyed that, but so it was a good time. And then in the morning, I'm leaving town. We're going, Mayor and I are heading to Laramie to go to the WHAM meetings over there for 2 days. So we'll be gone. So I'm heading off for that. So it's a good convention they have over there, and enjoy going. So appreciate the effort of the city. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Councilman Shetron.
Just a reminder, we got a couple of upcoming ribbon cuttings for businesses here in town that have actually changed locations on the 21st of this month at 5:30 in the evening. On Uena Drive, it'll be Allstate Insurance and Stellar Coffee. They've actually opened back open ice cream shop up there. So if you can find time in your schedules, we should go there and help support their new locations and wish them well. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Shetron. Councilman Berg.
You know, it's what Ryan did makes us all proud that we live in the community that we do. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Berg. Councilman Zimmerman.
Just a couple things. This week I had the privilege of working closely with Larry and Bill, and we got things worked out with the county, worked out all the details to get some really nice pieces of equipment to the city to use. We got a wildland attack truck. We got a small UTV, and the big thing was the tender. Am I right, Larry? That was a huge piece of equipment that the city could use. So I was excited to work with them. Everything went very well with my other job and this job. And so excited about that, to get that in the hands of our first responders. So proud of the city fire department along with the police department. Also want to give a shout out for 307 First. I was excited to hear that tonight, that there's somebody else asking everybody to buy local. Yes, we need to buy local and buy American, right, Steve? You better believe it. And you know, this is the time of year, I wasn't going to say this, but here it goes. This is the time of year that, you know, with the gas prices and stuff, it's tempting to buy one of those little foreign cars because of the gas mileage. But I'm pleading with you, spend the little extra money, give up a few extra gas miles, and pump the money back into America. We need to buy American. Please, if you can, just make that sacrifice. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Zimmerman. Okay. I also, of course, kudos to Ryan Passborg and all that he did. I mean, he risked his life really to help save three people, and he certainly deserves all the recognition that he's been given tonight. And I would also thank all the businesses. If you looked at those baskets, there was some very generous donations given by a whole lot of local businesses. So the community supported somebody that deserved being supported. So kudos to them. I did get a call from a gentleman who wanted to give kudos to our staff, mostly I think parks, but I don't know who else would be involved. But the Overland Stage Stampede 2 signs that are up, which I believe might have been done by the high school welding students. Okay. And if you drive by the rodeo, the signs are cool. They're really a nice job. There's two of them, one as an archway that you enter into the facility and one as you enter in a different way to the facility. So really an excellent addition to that, to the rodeo grounds. And he wanted to make sure that I gave recognition and thanked the staff that were involved in putting all that up and doing that, and the students that might have been involved in creating it. So let me go through my list here. Councilman Chetron, indicated try and make the ribbon cuttings. There was one this week at BNR last week, pardon me, Hearing Solutions, and they actually had a barbecue and cheeseburgers. It was great. And so I do recommend people to go out to those events if they can and check out the new business. And it just happened to be, I can't hear. No, it was about hearing aids and things of that nature. So we have a local option right here. So that was a good thing. And I did also attend the Downtown is Not Dead. You can't believe how many people were downtown, particularly in the Red and White Buffalo. It was packed, and downtown is not dead, and then there was a bunch of pop-up businesses because they closed the block. So it was really well. And then you walk 2 blocks down to White Mountain Lumber, and they had a customer appreciation and they had a drawing and things of that nature. And there was a lot of people there that, were interacting with the local business. So it was a busy weekend all over, as Brad has indicated. And I will be attending the Wyoming Association of Municipalities. 90 cities, 90 or 91 of the cities in the state of Wyoming belong to the Wyoming Association of Municipalities. And we'll be talking about a lot of different things. I'm pretty sure we'll be talking about pots of federal money and who's being successful and who's not, and what's being held up in different people's opinions. And there'll just be a lot of good discussion going on. And there's, I believe, only one city in the state that doesn't belong to the Wyoming Association of Municipalities. And finally, sales tax for last month, $868,507.41. When I heard that, given that, as we know, 750,000 is what we budgeted for, I thought that was great. And then I talked to somebody and typically that is a month in which we go up a lot. And Chris had hoped that we might even do a little bit better than that, but recognized and did say that, given all the kinds of things that we're dealing with in terms of fuel prices and all of those economic conditions, all things considered, it was a win for us. So that was a good deal. So on that happy note, unless anybody has anything else, I'll enter. Councilman Kilpack, do you have something that you would like to?
Let me ask the council.
Okay.
We have contracts coming up. They'll be done by the end of at the end of this month. We can go into an executive session tonight for 5 minutes and make a decision, or we can wait and do it in 2 weeks. So does
Yeah.
anyone on the council have a preference?
I would just like to say we're getting really close to the time frame in which we've got to approve the budget. What's the date, Chris?
The budget has to be approved next council meeting.
Yeah, at the next council meeting. I believe that we ought to go into executive session. We've talked about it already. That's why Councilman Kilpack is suggesting that it can be pretty quick.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn to executive session. And there'll be no decisions made
Okay, and this is
the
for personnel actions.
for personnel. Yeah.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilman Kilpack, seconded by Councilman Chutron. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We're adjourned to executive session. We're not going to come out and announce any kind of action. So unless you really enjoy sitting here, I would book if I was you, but that's.